then target the guy on the far left. Auto lock is really helpful on the hard difficulty.
And then once he gets all that money, notice I have the duffel bag too because it's meant for 2 people to grab the money, but only 1 person grabs the money.
It will cost you $75,000 for each business every time you do a full resupply.
You sell in Los Santos, and it's going to be $210,000, so it gives you a 50% bonus.
There's 4 possible items that can be inside the vault. The most common is cash, then after that it's artwork, after that it's gold, and then diamonds.
So now that we're inside of the compound, just keep running down the exact path that I take here. Don't worry about any of the guards, trust me, they will not see you.
Now, your second option is to buy supplies. You can purchase supplies for $60,000 by talking to Mutt or calling him. This fills the supply bar completely full in about 10 to 15 minutes.
And the best way to lower the container is not by getting in the vehicle and releasing the switch. Just shoot the little part at the top there and it'll fall right down.
Money has always been a key part of GTA games. Just like in real life, you get money for your, well, work. You can invest that money into something that makes you more money, or you can use it to buy some cool items and services with it. In GTA Online today, it's the easiest it has ever been to make money. But this wasn't always the case. Believe it or not, many of the best grinding methods are fairly recent additions. In the early days, players did not have access to businesses that produce illegal goods, or perhaps a submarine which can be used to set up a score on a drug empire operating on a private island. New DLCs almost always came with a new way of making money, which made the game more fun and added variety to grinding over time. And let's face it, with GTA 6 around the corner, Rockstar is focusing all their attention on the new game, and GTA 5 will likely receive its final DLCs in the upcoming years. With that in mind, let's take a look at the evolution of grinding in GTA Online and break down every DLC that improved or perhaps damaged grinding. When the game was first released back in 2013, the grinding options were obviously very limited. The only things you could do to make money were pretty much just robbing stores or doing those free mode events that would spawn occasionally, like the armored truck one, which you might be familiar with from the story mode. Obviously, we can't forget about the contact missions. Many of them could be done solo and they all had good payouts. Back in the day, missions didn't have this system where the longer you take on a mission, the more money you get. Therefore, no matter how fast you complete the mission, you would get the same payout each time. If you were there, you probably remember Rooftop Rumble, which was the most popular mission because it could be done really quickly. In fact, it was so quick and easy that Rockstar changed the mission structure not long after release. What ended up happening is the briefcase you had to steal now spawned in a car driving away instead of being in the parking lot. The problem with contact missions were the loading times, and GTA 5 launched with hilariously long ones. If you got tired of being in the clouds or wanted to do something in free mode, your best option were the store robberies. Or if you felt lazy, you could easily get $1 billion by being in a lobby with a modder. Modding is still a problem today, but it was way worse in 2014. And of course, I don't consider modding a form of grinding, but still wanted to mention it due to how many modders there were in the early days. And that was pretty much it for the first 2 years of the game. Without much new content, players didn't have many options, but still tried to make the best out of them. 2015 started out with the first major content update to the game, the Heists DLC released on the 10th of March 2015. This update brought a lot of new content, but perhaps the biggest addition ever made were the 5 replayable heists. This improved grinding massively as these paid much better than anything else, and they were easily accessible, only needing a high-end apartment to launch them. The cheapest high-end apartment is only $200,000, which is easily grindable in the day just by doing contact missions. The downside, however, is that you need 4 people to play them, and that obviously meant the payment had to be shared. Also, there were some challenging missions which can be pretty annoying to do with randoms. I'm sure we all remember a random low level taking ages on the Fleeco job hack, or crashing the plane 2 seconds after takeoff on the Prison Break finale. Despite this, heists were still fun and they were the best grinding methods in 2015. This year didn't really bring much improvements besides the heists. I guess we could mention the VIP works released with the Executives and Other Criminals DLC. They were fast missions you could do in free mode for a small payout, usually $10,000 or $20,000. A couple of them were slow and annoying, like Hostile Takeover, where you had to take a vehicle from a police station and deliver it to basically the other side of the map while having a 4-star wanted level. Others like Sightseer were quick and fun, which made them a good method for some quick cash. – 2016 brought a lot of new improvements to grinding as the first ever businesses were released. Further adventures in finance and felony allowed players to register an organization and become a CEO, which was an improved version of the VIP system released back in 2015. A CEO also needs some kind of headquarters where they can operate from, so offices were released as a purchasable property. An office gives you access to cargo warehouses that you can fill up and sell later. There are 3 types of warehouses: small, medium and large. I guess they are pretty self-explanatory. You can source 1, 2 or 3 crates at a time, and the cargo would be either in a vehicle or on the ground as a dropped item. Once you deliver the cargo, you can sell it or continue filling up the warehouse by doing another resupply mission. And another resupply mission. And another resupply mission. And another resupply mission. Yeah, it takes a while to fill up. But oh boy, selling a full large warehouse gives you such a massive dopamine boost. A couple of months later, we leave our organization behind and go on a little adventure as a part of a motorcycle club. That's right, I'm talking about the Bikers DLC. This update introduced clubhouses and 5 businesses alongside it. These were the white stuff, the green stuff, the blue stuff, counterfeit cash and document forgery. The MC businesses were the first passive businesses ever added to the game, which means once you get some supplies, the staff starts to make product out of it. In order to save some time, you can also buy supplies for $75,000, so you can do something else in the meantime. Well, the whole thing is much more complicated than the cargo warehouses. All you need to know is that the MC businesses didn't really bring much profit. They were good money on the side for sure, but they weren't the main source of income. The businesses also came with some of the worst sell missions in Grand Theft Auto history. Yes, I'm talking about you post-op sell mission. While selling MC businesses, you are required to be an MC president, which doesn't let you activate Ghost Organization, and it made the already terrible missions a lot worse. I don't really want to go in depth on these businesses. The white stuff, blue stuff and counterfeit cash makes the most money, while the green stuff and document forgery are kinda trash. Just when you thought we were done with 2016, no, there is still one more important update to talk about, and that is Import-Export. In this update we are given vehicle warehouses where we can store stolen vehicles and sell them later for a profit. Vehicle cargo was and probably still is one of the best solo businesses to run, since you always have only one vehicle to deliver. Well, unless you want to sell more cars, but you need more people for that anyway. Just like with special cargo, there are 3 types of vehicles you can source: standard, mid and top range. Nobody cares about the lower tier cars since they are a waste of time. There is a way to source only top range by having about 10 standard and 10 mid-range cars in your warehouse. Once you source a top range car, hop on the computer, sell it to a specialist dealer and make an $80,000 profit. Do this a couple of more times and get rich. Finally, we are done with 2016, but don't you worry, 2017 was also a good year for grinding. Firstly, we received the Gunrunning DLC, which introduced bunkers. Similar to MC businesses, the bunker also grants a passive source of income, this time however with a lot better payments. I won't waste time with gunrunning though, since it's pretty similar to bikers. You get some supplies, you wait, well, a lot actually, and finally you sell the whole thing. Smuggler's Run is one of my favorite updates, not because of the hangar business, but rather because of the large amount of area vehicles it added to the game. The hangar has a lot in common with special cargo, the only difference is that you can choose the type of cargo you want to source. Oh yeah, and you can get more than one crate by yourself for some reason. Well, the business isn't bad, if you have a couple of people to help, it can make you some good profit. Though only if you source from these three and preferably fill up the hangar with one type of cargo, so 50 crates of narcotics, chemical or medical supplies. Even with multiple people, the business can be still a pain in the ass because of the annoying resupply and sell missions. It's not because they're hard or anything, but they just take a shit ton of time. A cool little feature with this business is the ability to drop your source cargo on the roof of your hangar to save a little time by not watching a long-ass cutscene. A hangar can be bought at Fort Zancudo or LSIA. While this mediocre business is more efficient to run from Fort Zancudo, you would miss out on having a hangar at LSIA, which is much more convenient in a lot of situations. After Smuggler's Run, we received the Doomsday Heist, which also happens to be one of my favorite DLCs. Rockstar took the bad stuff from the original heists and made them a lot better with the Doomsday Heist. Now we can do all setups and finales with 2 people. Preps are similar to setups, but they are done in free mode and you can do them by yourself. There are 3 acts to the Doomsday Heist, obviously Act 3 paid the best with about $1.8 million. The other 2 acts paid good money too, Act 2 got you about 1.4 and Act 1 just a little below 1 billion. Well, this update didn't really improve grinding as much as you would expect. Maybe the annoying missions and the NPCs with aimbot turned players off from the whole thing. In my opinion, the whole point of the Doomsday Heist is the storyline instead of the money, so I guess we can't really complain. Here we are in 2018. This year is close to my heart as I started playing GTA Online this year. We can only really mention one DLC which had an impact on grinding though. That is After Hours, the update that introduced perhaps the most complicated business in the game. Nightclubs look simple on the surface, people come, they pay an entry fee and you get money from that. However, your main source of income is the warehouse that lies below your nightclub. This is the complicated part. In order to make money with this part of the club, you have to own other businesses to link it to. These being the cargo warehouses and the hangar, the bunker and the 5 MC businesses. Once you own a property from this list, you can assign a warehouse technician to it who will source supplies even if you don't run these businesses individually. This takes a shit ton of time, so you can participate in business battles to speed up the process. One of the best improvements of this DLC is the ability to customize your cell vehicles. Yes, I know Special Cargo also allows this, but nightclub vehicles can be customized for real. You can put armor and weapons on them, so it's easier to defend yourself. Also, you get one cell vehicle every time, so it's solo friendly as well. Speaking of vehicles, we can't have a grinding video without mentioning a grinder's best tool, the Terrorbyte. This truck is similar to the MOC released with the Gunrunning DLC, but this time it comes with a touchpad which lets you run all your businesses from inside. The UI is different and you don't have access to everything, but it's still a really useful truck. In 2019 is the first time we only received 2 DLCs throughout the whole year. The Diamond Casino and Resort was a really cool update, but when it comes to grinding it only introduced some contact missions, so we will skip this one. Around the end of the year we have the opportunity to rob the freshly opened casino as a part of the Diamond Casino heist. It's kinda crazy that the casino has been open for only a couple of months and we are already planning a heist involving it. Anyways, for the heist itself, in my opinion, is the best heist we ever got. There are no setup missions, only preps, which means no more sitting in the clouds for a 2-minute mission, and you don't need to invite others since you can do them solo. A good addition is the ability to choose our approach method. We can dress up as exterminators or casino employees to trick the staff, we can go in smart and silent with the help of drones and other gadgets, or we can rob the place guns blazing, killing everyone on the way in and out. There are so many ways to do this heist and the approach is not only it. With the addition of optional preps, you can make the heist easier or harder depending on what you want. You want some easy money? Choose group sex approach with level 2 keycards. Do you want a challenge? Choose aggressive without doing Dagon shipments. A lot of people only want to do the heist the most efficient way possible, which becomes boring after a while. So if you are still doing the casino heist frequently, I want your next approach to be something different. The casino heist not only brought a really good heist, but also a cool gadget known as the Master Control Terminal that you can purchase in your arcade. The thing is similar to the Terrorbyte, but this time the UI is the same as the one in your actual business, so it's not as confusing. Obviously the downside is that you can't move it around, but it's still a really useful item. A year later, after the Diamond Casino heist, we get another heist which is even bigger than that. Perhaps it is the biggest update ever released to GT Online. The Cayo Perico heist brought the first and only map expansion to Los Santos. The island of Cayo Perico is full of drugs, and with the help of a Russian dude named Pavel and a submarine we are able to rob it. And for the first time we can do it solo. Similarly to the casino heist, there are only prep missions, so you can do almost the entire thing in free mode. The payment is about the same as the casino heist, but obviously you don't have to share it with anyone since you can do it solo. This heist is special because you are not tight on approach, therefore you can do it however you like. Even if you change your mind during the finale, you still have the option to switch between different playstyles. For example, you are doing the finale silently, but you decide you want to be con approach. You can just search for some guard outfits on the island and finish the heist that way. I think you get what I'm talking about. There are just so many options to do this heist. The Cayo Perico heist was the update that changed grinding forever. The ability to do such a big heist by yourself in under an hour is incredible. In 2021 we got two new DLCs and both of them felt mediocre after Cayo Perico. First was Los Santos Tuners, which added contracts that you can start from your auto shop. They are kinda like mini heists. They are a lot quicker than the big ones, but they also pay a lot less. Another way to make money is by exporting client vehicles. It's a lot like vehicle cargo, except you don't need to source cars as they are already delivered to your auto shop. The second DLC of the year, The Contract, brought back Franklin from story mode and featured Dr. Dre, which was a surprise as Dre didn't even like Grand Theft Auto. Anyways, the main story of the update is about getting back Dr. Dre's stolen phone. It's also kinda like a heist. It pays $1 million and it can be done in about 1.5 hours. So not the best, but definitely not the worst way to grind. The update also added security contracts, but they are only really useful for getting the agency safe to the max capacity. Another addition was the payphone hits, which are similar to Lester's assassination missions from story mode. You are given a target to kill, and if you use the weapon of choice you can make some good money. We start off 2022 with the Criminal Enterprises DLC. This update is weird because as for new content we get some shitty missions which you can forget in about 2 seconds after finishing them. However, where this DLC shines is the improvements added to previous businesses. For special cargo, Rockstar added technicians in each warehouse you own who will source cargo for you if you pay them a small amount of money. If you use a technician to source cargo at least once, you get the option to export mixed goods from the office for $50,000. Your MC Clubhouse now gets passive income through the bar, and now you can deliver customer bikes similar to the auto shop. The bunker now stores excess weapon supplies which you can deliver to an ammunition for $50,000. As for the nightclub, you get a new contact in your phone, Johan, who can search for some supplies to steal if you call him. You can raise your nightclub popularity to the max by completing one of the 2 new random events. You either have to eject troublemakers or deliver a drunk VIP to a hospital. With the safe capacity being raised to $250,000 along with these random events, the nightclub itself makes a solid passive business. The best part of the DLC was the addition of the highly requested feature to be able to sell in invite-only sessions. Now you don't have to fear of some random ass griefer destroying your cargo. The second update of 2022 was Los Santos Drug Wars. After completing the first those missions, you will get the Brigade 6x6 which you can convert into the Acid Lab. This was the first ever business on wheels. It's also a passive business and this pays well while being fast. After completing 10 fully gun jobs, you get the option to upgrade the acid lab for a better payout. It also has a boost production feature which reduces the time it takes to produce a unit from 90 to 45 seconds. Essentially you can make about $350,000 in 3 hours. The acid lab also comes with a pretty fast bike you can make sales with. The drip feed for this DLC came with some very cool features. We can now be taxi drivers and make some cash legally. Obviously this doesn't pay that well, but it's a fun thing to do when you're bored. Street dealers were also added, which improved the MC businesses too, since you can sell some substances to the citizens of Los Santos. G's caches can be collected daily for some quick cash, and stash houses can be raided daily to resupply one of your businesses. San Andreas Mercenaries was the first update of 2023, and it was hot garbage mostly because of the vehicles Rockstar removed from the websites. The main part of the DLC is also some new missions that are horsecraft just like with Criminal Enterprises. Let's talk about the good stuff. Some dude appeared in the hangar who will help you source cargo if you pay him a small fee. It's the same as the warehouse technicians but with the hangar. Also land source and sell missions are now a thing, and these are much better than the long ass air missions. Now I didn't mention time trials yet, but I thought I would do it now because a new time trial has been added. Junk Energy time trials are completed with the Inductor bicycle and they pay $50,000 every day. RC Bandito time trials were weekly prior to this update, but now they are daily and they give $50,000 as well. I'm not gonna lie, the Chop Shop DLC is the only DLC in online and completely missed, obviously after I started playing myself. And I haven't played it ever since, so forgive me if I get something wrong. So Yusuf Amir returns from the Ballad of Gay Tony and introduces salvage yards to the player. The business consists of stealing vehicles and selling or breaking them down into parts to sell as scrap. There are 3 robberies each week, and sometimes you get the option to claim the car you stole for a small fee. Salvage yard robberies are kinda like mini heists from the auto shop, since you have to do a couple of prep missions before you can actually start the main robbery. If you purchase a tow truck in the yard, you get the option to do tow truck service missions. They are quick missions in free mode where, you guessed it, you have to tow away vehicles. This one is also shit like taxi work. One of the surprising releases of this update was the Clucking Bear Farm raid, which I swear I thought was a separate DLC. The raid is pretty much a heist, but everyone can start it without buying any sort of property. The thing takes a bit of time to set up, but it pays $500,000 and you don't even have to pay a setup cost for this. Finally we get to 2024, another mediocre year for the game. As for the first DLC, we get bottom dollar bounties, which brings back modest bounty hunting business from story mode. Every day you will receive a most wanted target to capture. If you deliver the target alive, you get about a $100,000 payment. If you somehow manage to kill the target, you might as well just restart the mission because it will deduct 75% from the payment. Madrazo hits are quick assassination missions, and if you complete them with the suggested weapon, you get a bit of extra money. If you notice some spray cans somewhere, pick them up as it gives you access to LS tags. Each day 5 posters appear throughout the map and you have to tag them. If you tag all 5 in one day, you will get a $100,000 payment, which is pretty good for a couple of minutes of work. We continue getting some legal jobs and we can even become an officer now. If you own a law enforcement vehicle, Vincent will give you some dispatch missions. Law enforcement vehicles are not on the cheap side though. If you want a less stressful job, you can deliver some pizzas, and the customers might even tip you if you deliver them while they are still hot. And here we are at the final update of the year. Power returns with the 8 gems of sabotage, only for a couple of minutes though. In this update we get yet again mini heists. You need to do 3 prep missions before you can move on to the finale. Each week there is a priority file which pays a bit more than the usual. One of the really cool features of this update is the app on your phone that allows you to start these missions anywhere on the map. Finally, the Terrorbyte has received some upgrades. The most important out of them would be the Master Control Terminal. Yes, it's the same as in the arcade, but now you can obviously move it around the map. And this is the end of the video. If you made it this far, you probably noticed I didn't talk about every small little change that occurred. I left out new races and adversary modes on purpose since, while they give money, they didn't have a huge impact on grinding overall. I also left out a couple of updates, mostly from 2015 and 2016, because they weren't a big deal. With that being said, let me know if I missed something out. Thank you for watching, and peace out.